Many people have it easy. They just don't even know it. The ability to go to bed and have dreams or nightmares, at least they can tell it's not real on some subconscious level. They can die and suddenly jerk back up awake and relieved, sighing and stating, "It's just a dream." Phew. I'm pretty sure this is the case for about 99.5% of you. Unfortunately for yours truly, I fall into that very insignificant, very obscure, very disturbed 0.5% who have it all completely twisted. What's it called again? Yes, oneirophrenia. A condition in which an individual cannot differentiate between a dream and reality. A very rare condition in which I just happened to find myself living with. It's not so bad though. Most days I manage. I keep a routine, wake up, eat breakfast, go to work, come home. Keeping things predictable makes it easier to distinguish what's real and what's not. Or so I thought. But last night was different. Last night, the lines blurred in a way they never had before. It started with the whispers, faint, almost soothing, calling my name as I sat on the couch. They came from the shadows, their voices weaving in and out like a haunted melody. I wanted to believe it was my imagination, or maybe even a dream. But the whispers grew more louder, more consistent, until they became screams. And then the doorbell rang. I don't remember opening the door, but suddenly I was standing outside. The air was thick, suffocating, and the streets were empty. No cars, no people, just silence, broken only by my own breathing. I wandered aimlessly, the whispers now echoing inside my skull, guiding me somewhere. I felt detached from my body as if I were a puppet on strings. And then I saw him. A man standing under the flickering light of a street lamp. He was crying, his face hidden in his hands. I approached cautiously, something inside me screaming to turn back, but I couldn't. He looked up to me, and his face, God, his face was wrong. His eyes were empty sockets, his mouth stretched into an unnatural grin. He lunged at me, and then I screamed. And then I woke up. I was in my bed, drenched in sweat, heart racing. Just a dream, I whispered to myself, relief washing over me. But then I noticed something. My hands, they were covered in blood. I scrambled out of my bed, the metallic scent hitting me like a punch to the gut. My clothes were soaked, my shoes muddy. My bedroom door was wide open, and there were footprints, bloody, erratic, leading down the hallway. I followed them, heart pounding. They led to the kitchen. There, on the floor, was a knife, and beside it, a body. I stumbled back, bow rising in my throat. It was the man from my dream, or at least what was left of him. His face was still twisted in that horrifying grin, his empty sockets staring up at me. It wasn't a dream. It was real. Panic set in. I grabbed my phone, my fingers trembling as I dialed 911. But before I could hit the call, the whispers returned. "You did good," they said, their voices soothing, almost proud. "No," I whispered, shaking my head. "This isn't real. This can't be real." But it was, and deep down, I knew it. The police arrived not long after, but by then, the body was gone. The blood, the footprints, everything had disappeared. They called it a false report, a symptom of my condition. They told me to rest, to take my medication. But as they left, I noticed something in the corner of my living room. A pair of empty eye sockets staring back at me.